Today, it's the Artillerist.
Yes, the big guns.
Literally, the big guns. So, to start out with, the basics of the Artillerists. In the Forgotten Realms, most of the time, it is basically set in a fantasy medieval time period. So a lot of swords, a lot of melee weapons, bows, and, some magic here and there. Well, actually, a lot of magic. So some people thought, could we make something that's better than an arrow? Because of those pesky dragons that keep coming down, shooting their fire in the villages. Someone said, how about we just use ballistas? But then, some people are like, that's too boring.
We have magic to use.
Yeah, we have magic. So why don't we take a ballista, take some raw magic, put them together. Now you have a Halo Scorpion tank that shoots down all dragons on sight.
Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, Artillerist is a mixture of engineering and magic to create damage.
Yes. Guns, glory, bloodshed, beautiful explosions. That is the Artillerist.
Yeah.
Guns and glory,
now,
baby.
that doesn't have to be guns.
It's guns.
The official word is cannon, which can be flavored in multiple different ways. But yes, on a basic level, the Artillerist is an artificer that is crafty, and they just happen to be very good at crafting
projectile weapons.
Yeah, basically things that shoot magic.
Shoot magic or physical products as well. So
could be. Well,
that's what it says, but in the subclass it says
they're magical.
They're
magical items.
They are magical, but like the physical stuff it shoots out can be like a bullet, which is pretty cool. So
okay,
in the lore, yeah. So speaking of lore, let's get into it. So the lore, yes. long time ago, in the Forgotten Realms, of course, when wars broke out, it's better to have a literal magic cannon of doom than having a couple dudes with swords. So when a war did break out, the Artillerists were very valued in each nation. They want Artillerists to make engines of war, making a giant mortar cannon, artillery, or just general cannons for their troops. So they got a lot of money. Tony Stark on weapon designer. They get the money because they make awesome things that make people go bye-bye.
Yeah, the Artillerist is Iron Man before Iron Man. It's the Tony Stark. Before the suit was made.
Yes, exactly. The Tony Stark. So, when a Artillerist did enter a war, there was generally not a lot of survivors because big cannon equals a lot of death. So cities, towns, armies would get devastated by these Artillerists because of how godlike cannons are compared to the medieval world, which has been proven in history multiple times. But over time, the Artillerists were like, hey guys, we're killing a lot of people. So they started to become neutral, and even some fought for only peace. So they pulled a Jedi. But instead of lightsabers, they would pull out a laser bazooka and blow up the person they're fighting. So,
right.
Yeah, not fun. But that is generally the lore of Artillerists. And just a little bit more, mostly gnomes were really good at being a Artillerist. So they made actually ballistas and trebuchets that were kind of like the first ones that made siege engines. So it was pretty interesting, yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, in a fantasy world, depends on the world you're playing in, but in D&D, there's obviously a lot of danger, a lot of war, a lot of fighting, and so an Artillerist is just the natural progression. It just is what would make sense in the world for if someone was really good at engineering or being crafty with both magic and materials. Weapons of pretty, not mass destruction, but large destruction are going to be made. And so the people who make those are the Artillerists. So they make a lot of sense in the world. I know there's a lot of arguments around Artillerists and whether they fit into the Forgotten Realms specifically. But they do. Depending on how you flavor them. Because as long as you include artificers, then you definitely have Artillerists now. Because people are going to use those skills to make weapons.
Yeah, and like when people say, oh, like guns don't really exist in the Forgotten Realms, people really misunderstand that a Artillerist could be someone holding a wand that's more, they made it better at shooting magic projectiles. They're just really good at using magic and putting that magic into projectile form. That's what they're all about. So it doesn't have to be the artificer with the bazooka cannon. It could be someone with like a wand or like a rod or something, like a staff.
Yeah,
all
there's
that.
a picture. It's a really good picture of an artillerist artificer where they have like the Gatling gun, but so it's like two-handed, but it's a giant scroll that's like instead of a thing of bullets, it's like feeding
really?
like it's some sort of magic inscription.
Oh, and then it
shooting
shoots
out-
magic.
shooting out magic.
That's actually
and
really
that's
cool.
kind of how it could work.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, the closer you flavor it to look like a gun, whether it's magic or not, the more immersion breaking it could be. But you get creative with it, and we'll give you some ideas now. But
Yeah.
you definitely don't have to have a gun to be an artillerist.
That very, very true. So with that, let's get into some role playing as a artillerist. So as a reminder, you can play as your artillerist however you want, but we'll be going through like the basic stats that you will have. So like if you're a very strong artillerist, I just imagine a very ripped person that has like their weapon is a giant cannon and they have like a cigar or something and they're like a
exactly
like a soldier. They're like hoorah, he goes.
Well, let's talk about strength then. Yeah, that's exactly what I would think of too. If you have a high strength, then you're probably going to be someone that likes to carry their guns around. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Maybe you'll avoid the tripod cannon and you'll just go, two-handed running around.
Yeah, with a Gatling gun or something.
Yeah, exactly. And you're probably going to have big arms.
Yeah, so
Low strength, I picture Hiccup
Hiccup with like what
from How to Train Your Dragon. Remember when he shot that thing? He hit the Night Fury. You know how he's got the engineering down. That's like him, where he runs to the back of the hall and like sets up his thing, his contraption, and then he like starts shooting people.
Actually, I just thought a perfect Hiccup build would be an Artificer Artillerist or Armor. He actually did it both. Yeah, no, in the later ones he.
Yeah, but
makes
later ones.
armor.
Nah.
I don't think you have seen the later ones, but
I was a kid when the first one came out,
would
so
also go with Draco Warden as well. That's a good combo if anybody wants to be Hiccup. But yeah, I totally agree. Low, yeah, I definitely.
If you're weak.
Yeah, if you're weak, you would probably set like a turret. Like you're kind of like an engineer that puts like a little turret. And you like crank it and then it kind of comes.
That was
alive.
Hiccup's thing. I mean, he was weak, and all the Vikings are strong. So the way he made up for it was his engineering, and that's exactly what you can be as an artificer.
It's actually kind of crazy some of the stuff he did. Like some of the stuff is like physically impossible that he did. So he made a sword that goes boom boom. So
again, the later ones don't matter. The first one was a good movie. I don't care. The last one's no.
The later ones were good. I liked them. They were really everyone liked them. So now let's go to dexterity, which I think would be like a spy with like
if you have high dex.
Yeah, high dex. You kind of have like a tiny wand or something like that, and you just like shoot kind of like a spy or
Could do that. Yeah.
Or like a hitman or something. You kind of like dodge and you kind of shoot, kind of like cowboyish.
Like
gunsling.
James Bond.
Yeah,
James Bond.
James Bond.
I'm blanking on the other ones.
Ethan.
You got Jason Bourne, Ethan Hunt. But who's
yeah.
Keanu Reeves? Which one's that?
I have no idea.
Okay, I'm blanking on it. Whatever.
His name is Jason.
But the other one, another thing you could do with high dex is you could be a sniper.
That is true.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Yeah, sniper would also.
Because there is a
very
cannon that is a sniper, and you don't have to put legs on it, so you can like turn it. You can just make it a sniper. Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, that would be like a big crossbow.
Yeah,
sniper with like a scope. Yeah,
because you can go I think it's 260. Yeah, we'll get to it, but yeah, there's a cannon you can make that is very long range.
I think it's only 120, but we'll.
Oh,
get
it's
to
120.
That.
It's 120.
Yeah. So
yeah.
we'll get to
I'm
that.
sure there's a
but
few.
with low dex, I imagine it's the strong guy, or he's like a really fat guy that has like a Gatling gun. So
that could
or
work.
woman.
Both. Yeah, and instead of a sniper or like a
shotgun
gun. Well, yeah, I mean you could do a
dex.
shotgun, but I mean there are the rules. So we'll get to the stats, but the flamethrower option seems like it makes sense. It's a cone of fire and it's short range. So if you're low dex, you're not gonna really miss with a giant flamethrower. So just go with that.
Definitely very true. Yeah, or like you're kind of like a support. I think there's like a healing one. So like you can go with a support and you kind of like stay behind and you heal people and you just sit there.
I mean yeah.
Or you're just a person that sets up a turret and just sits there and does spells in the back and that's all you do. Is just I don't know. I guess that's more intelligence or
Well, I mean, we're
wisdom.
talking about role playing here. Like
Role-playing.
the way you role play decks isn't really. It's not super relevant, I'd say, for the artificer because you're just shooting. You know what I mean? So it's like, so the only difference I think is you're either up close, so you make sure you hit them, and you have different types of guns, or if you have high decks, you're far away and you got precision, so you can hit them from afar.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could do James Bond stuff for sure.
Yeah. Alrighty, I think the next one is con, but you just look healthy or you don't. That's kind of basically it. So we'll move on to.
No. If you have a couple. If you have low con, then I'd say you're a camper from Call of Duty. You sit somewhere, you get it nice and fortified, and you just shoot them. Make sure no one gets to you.
I guess so. Also, you kind of like sneeze and mess up your shot, so you're like.
Well, you could be sickly. I guess I'm also thinking you just can't take a lot of hits.
I guess so. Yeah.
But then if you're high con. Like an artillerist can be very, very high con, especially when it gets to higher levels.
Oh, yeah.
With the AC bonuses and the cover that the cannon can give you, half cover. So you could be a tank in a way, or a shield, and you could sit up in the front with your flamethrower, and everyone else could get behind you and shoot spells from behind.
Yeah.
So that could be good.
Yeah, that would be.
So as they rush you, you're just mowing them down, and then anyone that gets through the fire, your teammates pick off.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So then there's wisdom.
Wisdom, you're just very good at that's like instincts. So I guess not to mix certain black magics together, so your gun doesn't explode.
Yeah, I'd say if you have low wisdom, at some point, 15th level, I believe, you get the option to detonate your cannon if you'd like, and I feel like low wisdom would just be detonating stuff all the time. Yeah,
you're like, it got touched once, detonate, instantly gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So. If you're high wisdom though, very strategic places to put it.
Sure.
So you can put it in a doorway. So
and you maybe pick your targets wisely. Or...
Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. Okay. So
not much for that.
Yeah. So for intelligence.
You're always gonna be high.
You're just gonna be always high in intelligence. So I think if you're high intelligence, you're always working on your gun and you're thinking of ways to benefit positions where you put it or different ways, different projectiles that it shoots. Just some fun stuff. Instead of the flamethrower, make it a cone of bullets. Fun stuff
shotgun.
Like that. Yeah, or shotgun.
I mean, that would be even less fantasy.
But
why has it gotta be bullets? Do a cone of
magic bullets.
Or just rocks.
Magic missile. Even though that doesn't miss, but
bunch of I don't know. Well, it could be anything, like a rocks. Cone of obsidian or a cone of spearheads. I don't know, or arrow tips.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why not?
Make it fun, yeah.
Okay, and then charisma. There's not much to say about charisma.
If you're high charisma, you're basically an American soldier in Vietnam. If you're low charisma, you just want to kill things.
If you're high charisma, then you're always pulling out the real guns, the biceps.
Yep. Kind of you're sweating. You got your kingdom's flag tattooed to your right shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're constantly saying that.
Yeah.
You're I got my real guns right here.
Exactly. Yeah. Low charisma, I feel like you're just quiet and you're kind of like a secret serial killer. You just
serial killer. You shoot first, ask questions later.
I like to shoot people.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. So I got a couple general role playing stuff. Because you had done this, so I'd say this is a very good way to create the Predator, if you want, because you can make the shoulder cannon.
The Predator.
Your cannon can be anything. So you can flavor it however you want. So you might as well make the 2d8s or 3d8s depending on what you're using. Could be it's gonna be your shoulder cannon. And if you say Predator, for people that don't know, Predator's like an alien. So if you don't know what it is, you're not gonna know what we're talking about.
Go watch it.
Go watch Predator for sure, unless you're under 12 or something. But it is rated R. But whatever. It's good. It's old, so it's not that scary. But if you're under 12, it can be. Or if you're young.
I mean, I feel like 12-year-olds now, they play Call of Duty.
I watched it when I was 12, and it wasn't scary.
Yeah.
Alien was terrifying. Predator did not scare me. I mean, it was scary while watching it, but afterwards, it didn't affect me, which is what matters. Actually, that's the best.
Predator is a very good movie. I made a Artificer Artillerist themed from the Predator.
Yes.
So I would always make night goggles and I had a wrist blade flavored longsword and a gun.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So,
good.
anything else for
There
role-playing?
was something I'm now forgetting, but I know there's like a core thing to determine with the artillerist. Like you could choose between two things, and now I'm blanking on what it was. Like there's two like major categories of how you role play. I forget.
I mean, I would think of like a Winter Soldier type.
Hmm.
And he was very.
What was the
big
very
into-
first thing you said?
What?
What was
Oh, like kind of like a Dutch in Predator, or like a guy that has just a giant gun.
Oh,
And
well, yeah.
he's like the
I don't know if
army.
that's
He
it.
has the cigar. He got the helmet. And he's just hoorah,
Yeah. Well, if I think of it. Whatever. But anyway, that's plenty of role-playing stuff. Artillerists,
Yep.
they shoot stuff.
So, yep, indeed. So let's run through the stats. So first of all, you are proficient in wood carving. Who knows why?
Do you want to say the spells first?
This is just the first thing. You're proficient in wood carving, and you get to choose another artisan tool of your choice. So kind of fun.
If you're already... Okay, hang on. You're getting a lot of... I mean, you're just starting with the stuff. You're starting at what we get at third level.
That's the spells. You get that at third level.
Yeah. No, you only get some spells at third level. You get a couple per level.
Right, I did what the book said.
Oh, you want to do the spells for every level, or do you want to just do all the spells at once?
I was going to do all the spells at once, but this proficient stuff was above the spells, so I just wrote it down above the spells.
Yes, but the order is not as easy to learn from.
But
Okay, we're doing spells.
all right.
At third level, you get Shield and Thunderwave, both of which are defensive. And that's good if you got a cannon to defend. At fifth level, you get Scorching Ray and Shatter.
Which is fun. Scorching Ray is a cool spell. You can shoot like fire projectiles, or your cannon just fire. Theme it that way.
For sure. Ninth level, you get Fireball and Wind Wall.
Just for that bazooka moment with the fireball.
Yes. I love how you get the wall, too. And you're about to get more walls. At 13th level, you get Ice Storm and Wall of Fire. Because the walls are just so helpful when you have a cannon. Because you're just like, I'm going to cut all those enemies off from me, and I'm just going to shoot down this line.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
And then at 17th level, you get Cone of Cold and Wall of Force. So a lot of walls, and yeah, those are the spells. So then the actual features, like you said, is you get proficiency in wood carvings tools at third level.
And a artisan tool type of the player's choice.
Only if you're already proficient in wood carvings tools. So you get wood carving. If you're already proficient, you get to pick a different one.
I see.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. So then we can talk about the main thing that you get at third level, the Eldritch Cannon.
Yes.
So the Eldritch Cannon can be small or tiny. And you're thinking, but I want a big gun. Well, the thing is, small is a big gun. Because I don't think you're going to be carrying around a medium gun. For some reason, that was a big complaint.
It's not a gun, it's a cannon.
Well, it's a cannon.
Yeah.
But some people have been having a complaint about, like, having it larger. I'm like, you want a man-sized cannon to... I mean, I guess so, but, like, I don't know.
That would be cool, though, I will say.
That would be cool.
I mean, if... I don't see what the downside of that would be. Like, if you wanted to flavor it as just bigger, I guess.
I guess so, but, like, I don't know. For some reason, people did not like that.
But the size is so tiny makes it sound like it, like, fits in your hand. Tiny is still a two-handed cannon. Or at least it sits on your shoulder.
You can actually hold it with one hand. That's the benefit with tiny. You can hold it in one hand.
But, sorry, but what you're picturing, I mean, is, like, you can hold it with one hand. So, I mean, I picture you're holding it with one hand, but it's going over your shoulder. You know what I mean?
Well, I think tiny is saying that like it's like a handheld weapon, like a wand or pistol or whatever. And then the small, that's like the shoulder cannon. You know?
The small can also be put on legs, which I think is its intent. It's like you grab it, you can.
Yeah. Well, I think tiny can do that too. I think any size can do that.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well,
I mean, yeah, any size can. I guess any size can. Yeah.
But,
Well,
it's just flavoring if you want a big cannon or if you want a small cannon.
I don't think it affects the damage either.
It doesn't. It's just for flavor. I think it's just for role playing stuff. It's like, do you want like a big bazooka or do you want like a wand handgun? I don't know. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah, I
the
didn't
only
think too
point.
deeply about that, but that is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I guess you're really not allowed to do large or medium for a specific reason.
Which is dumb.
Because the tiny you hold, but the small does take up its own space. I believe it says.
Yeah.
Which is relevant.
Sad that you can't have a medium-sized literal cannon. You know, like imagine you're playing an ogre, you just have a cannon. That would be kind of cool, yeah. But yeah. So basically, you use to create your Eldritch Cannon. You can spend a long rest making it, or let's say your cannon gets destroyed and now your class is useless. You can say no, and you can just spend a spell slot to create another cannon instantly, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
But you can only do it once a day. You can only create one once a long rest.
Yes, which is sad.
You'll want to keep it around. So you'll get to reset it like once in a combat if you thought ahead and already have a cannon.
Right.
Which you probably will.
Yeah.
Just carry it around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the cannon has a bunch of stats. I don't think there's a need for us to just kind of list them off to you. I mean, the basic ones are like AC of 18, hit points 5 times your artificer level. It's a magical item. It's immune to a couple types of damage. There's other stuff. It can walk. If you give it legs, it can magically walk around.
It can walk 15 feet.
Yeah, so you can be fighting and have it fighting like next
Which
to
is
you.
really cool.
Which is cool.
That.
It definitely reminds me of like Beauty and the Beast or something. You know what I mean? Like the lamp and like the tables walking around.
Or kind of like some video games out there, like in Call of Duty, you just set up the sentry turret and kind of like just imagine one that can move, which is better. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's very futuristic.
This is a big thing, though. At 3rd level, you can't make more than 1 cannon. So don't think you can be cool and you can set up like 5 cannons around your campsite.
Right.
That's not how that works.
Yeah, you can't just save them up. That would be awesome, though.
That would be awesome.
OP.
And a cool thing is, if it does get damaged, since it has health, if you use the mending spell, it heals it, which is really cool. I like that. You can just walk up, it's like, here, mending. I'm pretty sure it's a cantrip, so you can just infinitely heal it.
As an action, though.
Yeah, as an action,
which is a
but
big
still.
deal.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. So that's the cannon. There's more to it, but something to definitely note is when you make it, you get to choose what kind of cannon it is. And there is a table that is given, and I'm sure you can find other types that are like unofficial that maybe your DM will allow you to choose from. But the 3 main types are as follows. You have the flamethrower, which is a short-range cone. So it's bad because it's short range, but it's good because it's a cone. So you can hit multiple people at once. So you got a bunch of goblins running at you.
Every action you can shoot.
Yeah, you'll make a giant cone of fire, which is really good. The second one is my favorite, and it's the Force Ballista.
It's basically a sniper.
Yeah, it's long range, and when it hits them, they get knocked back 5 feet possibly.
Which is really cool.
Which is just fun.
Yeah, which is fun, yeah. And then the last one is called the Protector. And you're like, what? But it's supposed to be a cannon. It basically spews healthy juice on your allies, and you give them some temporary hit points.
Yeah, you're shooting temporary hit points.
No,
it's very odd, in my opinion.
I kind of wish they kind of did like something else, like a mortar or something like that, like a, I don't know.
Cool. Yeah, it's odd for sure. But I mean, it's good that it's an option, I guess.
Yeah.
So flavoring that, it's tough to flavor that in a way that makes any sense to me. I mean, obviously you can just straight up shoot out magic, but why is it a cannon?
Well, I mean, I don't think it has to be a cannon. I think that's the name. Like it says, it can be like a wand or a firearm. It could be a literal stick, or it could be a cannon.
Or you're just firing like adrenaline into your. You know what I mean? Like
I guess so. One picture in Tasha's, the first picture of the Artillerist, is actually a gnome with a metallic cockatrice, a monster. That's the cannon. It spews out stuff, and it's like a little monster. So you kind of like a little drake or owlbear as your cannon.
Yeah, I mean that's getting into the other subclass, the Battlemaster or whatever, but.
Well, no, I mean, you can flavor it that way. That's the cannon. It can't do anything but shoot, but you can have, like, a flying fish or, I don't know, something like that.
For sure. But that's the 3 types. You got your short-range cone, long-range, and you got the hit point giver. All right, then at 5th level, you get your arcane firearm. Mm-hmm. So this is very much not named like a fantasy thing, but it is pretty fancy-like, and it in no way suggests that you get a gun. So what you do get the ability to do is turn a wand, a staff, or anything like that into an arcane focus that you can then shoot your spells through. And so the benefit of this is whenever you shoot a spell through it that does damage, the damage will get a plus 1d8 to it, which is a big
nice,
difference.
Yeah.
That's like a whole spell of damage.
Yeah,
right there.
and since it's a spell focus, like, do you have to do material components and stuff for spells?
No.
Yeah, so it's
I
like...
don't think Artillerists really ever need to.
Yeah, so it's really nice. It just extra damage on your spell attack, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it doesn't... you don't actually make a wand into, like, a pistol. All you do is you need to use your wood carving tools, and you sit there when everyone's going to bed, and you carve some runes on it, and the runes stay there unless you want to make something else.
You're making like a master wand.
Basically, yeah. But for 9th level, we have the explosive cannon. Basically, the first thing is your cannon gets a additional d8 to its base damage. So any damage that it does, it's not 3d8s. So it's pretty nice. But when your cannon is low on health, you can mainly you can use your action to detonate the cannon in a 60-foot sphere, which is giant. That
is
means
giant.
Huge. That is gargantuan. They would have to make a dex check, or they take 3d8s damage or half on a success. I kind of feel like the damage is lacking. The thing is blowing up in a 60-foot...
3d8s. Yeah, but I mean, it's 60 feet.
That is true. It does hit a lot of things.
And why is it so damaging? It's like just a cannon blowing up.
Well, I mean...
why would it be...
I don't think it's...
Why would it be more damaging for the detonation of a cannon? Why is that more damaging than getting shot by the cannon? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I think it's in real life. Like, if you shoot a gun, you have a chance of surviving, but if a gun blows up in your face, I don't think it says... Guns do that. That can happen.
Well, no. Imagine, okay, would you rather a handgun, explode in front of you, or someone just shoots you?
Well, I feel like
imagine a cannon. Let's say it's like a cannon. Like you light the fuse and it blows up. Would you rather be standing in front of the cannon and just the cannonball just goes into you, or just the cannon itself blows up?
Well,
because some of that force is the force is going in all directions, so it should lessen it. But the cannon funnels that force towards you when it fires.
I don't think that's how it physically works, though.
In real life, I think it is.
In real life, they took a real cannon. You could fire it. Cannonballs go through ships and stuff, right? And a ship can survive a couple cannonballs. But, a problem was, if a cannon explodes, it just tears a giant hole. So, it does output more energy.
I mean, but imagine you just... That's because it's so close.
Well,
You're shooting a cannonball far away, and it's still causing damage.
I guess so, but
with this though, we're dealing with a magical cannon, so it's a magical explosion.
Well, imagine the magical explosion. It unleashes all of its magic, right?
Well, I'm saying magic makes sense, but in real life, the cannon wouldn't do. I guess it's so. It's just like physics of force. Where's that extra force coming from? Why wouldn't that be generated in the beginning when it's shooting? Because, let's say you're doing a cannon. You put the black powder in the back or whatever. You put the cannonball in front of it. And then when you light it, all that force has to go somewhere. So it pushes the cannonball out and the cannonball is flying. But if all that force ends up dispersing, why is it more force than it was in the beginning? You know what I'm saying? Sure, you might get hit by, a piece of the cannon and it might kill you for sure. But... that's just unlucky.
Well, I mean, I think for guns, it's because it makes all the other bullets explode too, in the actual gun.
Okay, well, that's the difference.
I think for cannons that makes sense, but let's not get off track. I'm hungry, so.
You're hungry. It's 11 o'clock right now.
I am hungry. Well, also I want to sleep, so.
Okay.
But I don't want to impede on ourselves. We want to give you guys this awesome information about how blow people up.
You're acting like you hate talking about D&D.
I don't hate it. I love D&D. All right. One time I did headshot a dude as a artillerist. It was fun as the predator, and you get net trap, and you get net traps.
You act like it's a video game.
It is
headshot.
Yeah, headshot, baby. I got crit, so. Also, Artificer, they get trap spells, like a tripwire that flings them in the trees. So you literally can be, Predator. Also, you have, the jump spell and, some stuff like that. So it was really, really good. Predator. You could definitely be a Predator in D&D, so it's fun. Lastly, though, last part of the stats is a fortified position.
At 15th level.
At 15th level. Basically, what this does is when you're within 10 feet of your cannon, you and your allies get half cover, which is really nice in a ranged fight. It's really good.
Really good, and especially when you already have pretty high AC, which you probably do.
Yes.
As an artificer.
Yes. And then the next thing is which makes it really good. You can make 2 cannons at a time.
Yeah, so it's a huge deal.
Huge deal. This makes the artillerist class bumps up in how useful it can get with 2 cannons.
Now, it takes a bonus action to fire one, correct? So I don't think you can fire both at once. I mean, unless you use your action, perhaps.
Maybe. I don't know. But that's still nice. Well, I mean, imagine you're just sitting there, and then just your cannons just do all the work, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And you have different types. You have your flamethrower sitting there, and then your...
Well, yeah. Also, they can be positioned in ways where you can be running and hiding, but you can still shoot while you're running and hiding. You know, so
that's true.
Yeah, so pretty nice. But yes, that is basically all the stuff that the Artillerist gets, and the Artillerist is very nice. Big explosions, guns and glory, stuff like that. But let's just give you some extra ideas and some
optimization.
Yeah, optimization. Yeah.
So how would you recommend? What would you kind of do with an artillerist? So a couple things come to mind for me are mending cantrip, make sure you have that one, but that's just normal. That you should have that for an artificer in general. Gnomes obviously are always good.
Gnomes are very good. Elves are good too.
In this case,
dwarves would be good for this one too.
Sure.
Yeah, makes sense. Dwarves like guns in some fantasy worlds, like Warhammer.
In some, yes, they do. But yeah, I mean, and you can actually do some pretty big, strong races too, which wouldn't be bad.
Like a Goliath or something like that.
Yep.
That would be cool.
Get some constitution.
They're not really intelligent though. But
that's true.
That's true.
That's where gnomes come in. But yeah, so that's race. I mean, artificer. If you're not a gnome, gnome's clearly the best one. But obviously you can be anything you want. It's not gonna make a huge difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean. It's an artillerist, so anything that can help you fire. I think artillerist I would. I always say with artificer, you want to go to intelligence of 20 before you take a feat. But with the artillerist, there are definitely some feats that I think would be good. I think there's some that...
Like sharpshooter?
Sharpshooter, double your damage, or double your distance, I believe. And stuff like that are just... And there's quicker reloads.
You don't have to reload, yeah.
Yeah, not for the cannon, but it depends. But sharpshooter for sure, that kind of stuff, and that I'd probably take that just to be I'm gonna sit way over here with my force ballista. You're not even gonna touch me.
No, but also, I feel like this is one of the subclasses that isn't only support. You're gonna be a ranged. Hopefully,
you're gonna deal damage.
Yeah, you're gonna be a damage dealer.
But this is only for teams, though. This is a terrible class if you're a
by yourself
1v1 or something.
Yeah.
If you're if you're an artillerist and you're splitting the party, make sure you're with people.
With a barbarian or someone that can protect you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're very good when you're with a team, but when you're by yourself,
Once that enemy grabs you by the throat. It's all over.
And that ogre got... not fun, yeah. But yeah, so that was some optimization, probably some strategy to...
Yeah, not a ton there, but this is a subclass, so focus on what we said for our artificer in general.
Indeed. So for fun facts, there has been rumors of an artillerist that made a cannon so large... It was a gnome. They put it in a gnomish kingdom, and a human nation invaded. And this gnome looks at the distance and sees a medieval army. Knights on horses, griffins maybe, foot soldiers, siege towers, and catapults. He pulls out what's basically a Halo Gauss cannon and just unloads all of it.
Halo Gauss cannon isn't that big, though.
But do you know what it does, though?
Yeah.
It's literally just... catapults explode, people disintegrate.
So there's a war where humans got slaughtered by a giant cannon
by gnomes. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Also, apparently there's also this gnome who is the leader of the artillerists. I'm not sure, but he or she was all peaceful. They're artillerists, we're not fighting wars anymore.
Yeah.
Because we kill everyone when we do. So we're not going to do that anymore. So, yeah. So now they're really rare because I guess they're the most frowned upon with all the other artificers because you just make weapons for mass destruction. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not fun. But do you have any fun facts?
No fun facts. No.
How about some extra ideas?
Man, Artificer, Artificer, yes, but Artillerist for sure. I mean, it's one that's fun to get creative with. Like, there's just something about shooting guns. Even though they're not guns, But there's something about that. Like, when all your friends are fighting with swords and you're back there shooting basically guns, it can be very satisfying.
It can be, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But So I mean, we talked about some of the role playing ideas when it comes to like being a sniper or a spy. Those are all good, I think. We talked about predator. Yeah, I think that's good.
I actually have two.
Okay.
So I think they should definitely add some large races. I think some races can become large, but like imagine you're like an ogre. You just pull up with like a
half giants.
Yeah, or like half giants, and you just pull up with like a literal cannon. I'm not sure if we already said that, but like just a giant ship cannon, and that's your that's a medium cannon. That's the the medium size that people would talk about.
But you can't make a medium cannon.
Sadly,
you're just holding a small cannon in one hand.
I guess so, yeah, a small cannon. But like that would be cool. Another thing is they should add more cannon variants. So like they should make one that's a line. So you shoot boiling water. It's like a line attack instead
I
of
bet an alchemist could pull it off.
An alchemist could definitely pull it off. Other stuff like that. Maybe you want
true.
like.
Well, I mentioned that different types of guns because I think the 3 are kind of limiting.
Yeah, it's very limiting. Or like you should have one that does like explosions. So like radiuses, like a fireball type of cannon. It's like a bazooka.
Or it could be like a Mr. Freeze. Like instead of a flamethrower, it's an ice thrower.
Yeah, you like freeze people or something. I think the explosion one is cool. It's a radius, so when you're always scared, and you're playing Call of Duty or Halo with the rocket launcher or Fallout. This happened to me. You're holding your literal nuclear bazooka gun, and you're in like a building, realizing that you're having an explosive weapon, and this like random like rat jumps out of the corner. You just explode and die. So like you can cause harm to yourself and your friends, or you can make that thing like a mortar. It's like long range and it does area damage, very long range area damage, but it can hit you. That would be cool.
If you can get like a hot air balloon or a flight in any way, you're gonna be set.
Oh yeah. Basically, if you're on like a riding like a Pegasi, you're just like.
Or like you are riding your cannon, like it's like a flying cannon somehow.
It becomes like a plane. Vehicle cannons, that would be cool.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, like your plane is your cannon.
Or it's a horse.
It's a horse that opens its
mechanical
mouth.
If you can move 15 feet, can you just ride your cannon?
It's small though, so I don't think a medium thing can ride a small thing.
Be a gnome.
I guess so. Or be a fairy. That can be tiny. A fairy artificer.
You can be. That's a race you can play.
Yeah.
And you're tiny.
Yeah, it's a ability. You can become tiny.
Oh, that's right. You become tiny.
So I just imagine your cannon's like a rabbit, and you're
that's
just
a cool ability. I've never played a fairy. I need to play a fairy.
Yeah,
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, that does sound really fun. Go Ant-Man on people. But yeah,
exactly.
So that's all the fun facts, extra ideas. I hope you guys liked this episode about the Artillerists. I almost said Artificer, even though that's what they are. But hope you all have a great night. We'll see you next time with the Armorer.